Listen to this recording. Breathtaking, isn't it? This is Maria Callas in 1952, Macbeth. Critics love calling it a dramatic miracle, but let's skip the artistic filters today. Let's open up the acoustic analysis software and tear apart her signature heavy lower register to see exactly how terrifying her vocal engine was at its peak, long before that infamous 30-kilogram weight loss. Look at this spectrogram. In the lower register, she's using what we call heavy mechanism. The vocal folds are making broad, massive contact. You can understand it this way. Her vocal cords are running at absolute full load, leaving no room for retreat. Normally, as sopranos climb higher, they naturally shift into a lighter mode, letting the vocal tract resonance track the fundamental frequency. It makes the voice safe and effortless. But Callas refuses to shift. To pursue that earth-shattering dramatic tension, she rejects the compromise of head voice and drags that heavy chest pressure all the way up into the high notes. That bottomless, dense sound you hear, that's where it comes from. The famous chest voice. But the data shows you something far more brutal. Look at the energy difference between H1 and H2, the first and second harmonics. It plunges deep into a negative red zone. This means her vocal fold adduction is incredibly fierce, almost violent. Every single note she sings is a high-intensity physical consumption, all to forge that remarkably solid, metallic, cutting sound. You might think such an extreme technique would make the voice sound strained or wobbly. But here is the miracle of this 1952 recording. Let's look at two core metrics. First, in the 2000 to 4000 Hz high-frequency range, the singer's formant, her energy pillars are exceptionally thick. Acoustically, this is an extremely low singing power ratio. It proves that not only are her vocal cords clamping down hard, but her pharyngeal resonance is perfectly tuned, amplifying the penetrating power with zero loss. Second, look at the vibrato waveform on her sustained notes. Even facing terrifying subglottic air pressure, her vibrato rate in 1952 remains locked exactly in the textbook golden zone, 5.5 to 7.5 cycles per second. The line is silky smooth. No struggle, no jagged edges, no wobble. This is what made her so terrifying in 1952. She was operating a highly dangerous, high-pressure vocal machine that could lose control at any second. Yet her neurological and muscular control suppressed it perfectly at the peak of equilibrium. People love saying Callas had three different voices, low, middle, and high, like three different people. Why do we hear it that way? Let's bring back the spectrogram. Right at the passaggio, the transition point, the spectral lines begin to blur. You see turbulence noise. You can even see dashed lines of subharmonics. These so-called three voices are actually the physical scars left by her vocal organs being forced to shift gears under extreme pressure. Because the lower register was running at full capacity, she had to exert far more control than a normal human to smooth out the transition. This forceful confrontation created physical friction, a noise. Yes, it deviates from textbook perfection, but it is exactly this friction that gave her voice that heartbreaking, weeping reality. So, with such a suicidal technique, why didn't her voice collapse back then? My personal answer lies in her solid, massive physical frame in 1952. In vocal mechanics, body mass is the ultimate physical buffer against extreme air pressure. With this powerful foundation, her overloaded engine could remain steady as a mountain, enduring that terrifying subglottal pressure. Looking at this data, we see an extraordinary artist. She knew exactly how to sing in the safest, most effortless way. So why do it? Because she was answering Giuseppe Verdi. Verdi famously demanded that Lady Macbeth should not sing beautifully. He wanted a voice that was rough, hoarse, and gloomy, a dark, evil voice. To resurrect that demon for Verdi, and for conductors like De Sabata, she willingly threw her vocal cords into the fire. Between mediocre safety and ultimate truth, she firmly chose the latter. The so-called flaws of flesh and blood friction recorded in this data are exactly her absolute artistic signature. She used her own flesh and blood as the price, burning out a dramatic peak that machine algorithms will never be able to replicate.